Have you ever paused to observe the silent undercurrent that guides us all? We navigate this world, a vast ocean of beings, each carrying a similar deep yearning. We may name it a search for meaning, a quest for purpose, or a drive for connection. We wrap it in layers of ambition and accomplishment. But when all these layers are gently peeled away, what lies at the core? It is the profound wish to offer love and to be held in its embrace. This is the very breath of our human experience. It is more fundamental than our physical hunger, more constant than our need for shelter. For you can have a full table and a secure home, yet feel an immense void within, moving through life like a ghost, unseen and unfelt. And yet, this is where our journey takes a curious turn. We have often made this simple, natural flow into a complex structure of expectation and exchange. We have somehow mistaken the shadow of love for the light itself. When did you first learn that affection was a reward to be earned? Travel back for a moment. Perhaps it was in your youth, when warmth came more easily, after you met a certain expectation, walked a certain path, or achieved a particular goal. Maybe you observed that smiles were given more freely when you were quiet, helpful, or when you molded yourself to fit the needs of others. Or it may have been in the first light of romance, discovering that to hold someone's gaze, a performance was required. You had to be witty enough, strong enough, or successful enough. And in those moments, a single seed of belief was planted that love is a prize you win only when you fulfill the right conditions. If this quiet reflection already resonates deep within you, I invite you to join this growing community of seekers. By subscribing and turning on notifications, you create a space for this wisdom to continue flowing into your life. As a first step on this path together, let us set an intention. I want you to share a powerful truth. Type "Emwelo Bigi Inis Wutech Me" in the comments below as a quiet promise to yourself. Once this seed takes root, it can grow into an entire landscape of misunderstanding. After years of journeying, you begin to see the architecture of the game you've been playing. You realize you have been trading fragments of your authentic self for fleeting moments of validation. You have been acting on a stage where the audience is rarely satisfied, and the inner depletion from this constant performance is profound. An affection built on conditions creates a structure that appears solid, but its foundation is fragile. It is an arrangement, an unspoken contract. If you provide me with this, I will offer you that. For a season, maybe even many seasons, this agreement holds. The scales seem balanced, the structure remains standing. But there is a hidden truth about these arrangements. They are built on the illusion of stillness. Life, in its great wisdom, is a force of constant change. You evolve, your perspective deepens, your circumstances shift. The person you were when the agreement was formed is not who you are today. And this is also true for the other. We are not static statues. You are a flowing river, not a fixed stone. We are in constant motion, becoming anew in every moment. So what happens when these unspoken terms can no longer be met? When the strength you once offered softens? When the vibrant energy that drew them in gives way to a quiet need for rest? When you grow weary of wearing a mask that no longer fits? In these moments, the warmth you perceived as love may reveal itself as something different, a sense of duty, a force of habit, or perhaps an unsettling emptiness where tenderness once lived. I have seen this realization dawn on so many individuals who have poured years of devotion into another, only to awaken to the truth that their essence was never truly witnessed. They were valued for their function. They were appreciated for their contribution. But were they loved for their being? Not in the way the soul craves nourishment. The ache of this discovery is immense, like realizing you have been nourishing a garden that had no roots. You believed your care was being received, but there was only a barren field. This is the nature of conditional love. It is not intentionally unkind. Most are simply acting from their own conditioning. But when love is based on what you provide, rather than who you are, it is destined to lead to emptiness, because all external things eventually change and fall away. Now, let it be understood, This is not a suggestion that loving relationships are without action or service. Of course not. True connection naturally blossoms into acts of care and deep listening. But there is a universe of difference between giving from a full wellspring and giving from a place of fear. One is the natural overflow of a mountain spring. It cannot help but give. The other is a shallow cup, offered with the hope it will be filled in return. You can feel this difference in your own body, can't you? When another gives to you from their inner abundance, their offering feels light, joyful. They are not keeping a silent tally, awaiting an equal exchange. The act of giving is its own fulfillment. But when the offering comes from a place of inner scarcity, it carries a weight. You sense the invisible attachments, the silent plea for something back, and that is not the flow of love. It is a transaction wearing the robes of affection. The deeper tragedy is how early this pattern is learned. As children, many of us absorb the idea that affection is the prize for conformity. So we journey into our lives trying to be good enough, to meet the invisible requirements, to finally secure the love we so deeply desire. Yet, it never brings true peace. Even when you fulfill every condition, a part of you knows you are not fully seen. There is a quiet fear that if the mask were to drop, if your true, unfiltered self were revealed, acceptance would be withdrawn. So you can become trapped in a self-made prison, in bonds where you cannot be truly honest, truly vulnerable, truly at rest. You must always maintain the posture, the performance, the version of you that was agreed upon. The exhaustion of this, year after year, slowly drains the spirit. You become a hollow reed, playing a song of obligation, wondering how something meant to bring such light became so heavy. Let me share an insight about the nature of true connection, the kind that does not decay into bitterness. It is not a negotiation. It has no clauses or conditions. True connection is freedom. It is the sacred space to be unapologetically you, without pretense. It is to be seen in your glorious complexity, your imperfections, your shadows, and to still be held with deep regard, not because you have proven your worth, but because your existence itself is worthy. But here is the profound secret, the one we often resist hearing. You cannot truly receive this love from another until you have first learned to offer it to yourself. We all hold a subtle hope that someone will appear and fill the empty spaces within us, that their love will mend our old wounds and make us whole. But the laws of nature do not work this way. It is an internal journey. A heart that is famished for love will, consciously or not, turn even its most open gestures into a hidden exchange. It will offer care, but it will be quietly watching, waiting for a return on its investment. Think of it as a current of energy. When you are desperate for acceptance, every kind word you speak carries a subtle plea. Please, see my value. Please choose me. And the other person feels this underlying pull, this expectation. It creates a tension that authentic love cannot breathe in, because true love, the kind that endures, requires openness. It requires the liberty to be present without the weight of obligation. So the fundamental question becomes, how do you cease the desperate search for love outside yourself? How do you fill your own cup so completely that you no longer ask another to quench your thirst? The path is both utterly simple and the work of a lifetime. You must learn to sit in stillness with yourself, and in this stillness, you begin to truly accept your own being, every part of it, the aspects you celebrate and the ones you hide, your moments of grace and your moments of struggle, all of it. This is not a simple task. Our world often teaches us that we should always be striving to become something else, more disciplined, more successful, more perfect. The unspoken message is that who you are right now is somehow incomplete. But what if that was never the truth? What if your very existence has always been enough? A force far greater than your mind breathed you into life. Call it the universe, the Tao, life itself. It did not require you to prove your worthiness first. You were brought into existence from a place of unconditional generosity. The sun graces you with its light each morning without reviewing your accomplishments. The air fills your lungs without demanding payment. Your very being is held in an embrace so vast that you are living proof of a love without conditions. If you can truly allow this realization to land deep in your bones, everything begins to shift. You begin to understand that you are not standing outside, hoping for an invitation. You are already part of the magnificent tapestry. You are already held, already loved, already whole. And from this inner fullness, you can offer love without any invisible strings. Not as a strategy to get something, but because love is your own essential nature. It is what radiates from you when you are no longer guarding your heart. When two people meet from this space of inner wholeness, a completely different dance begins. There is no clinging, no unspoken demand, no persistent anxiety. Instead, there is a simple, peaceful recognition. They do not look to one another to feel complete, so they are free to choose each other from a place of pure resonance. And that choice, made from freedom, is more powerful than 1,000 commitments made from need. This is the love that doesn't keep a record of wrongs, the love that remains steady when you falter, the love that sees you on your most difficult day and does not turn away because its foundation was never your performance. It was based on the simple truth of your being, and your being can never fail. It can never be inadequate. It simply is. But it must be said, this kind of connection can feel rare, not because it is impossibly difficult, but because so few of us pause our outward search long enough to discover it within. We move from one person to the next, hoping the next landscape will finally feel like home, believing that if we just find the right partner, all the pieces will fall into place. But this will never be so. The challenge was never about finding the right person. It was about becoming the right person for yourself. You cannot meet another at a depth you have not explored within your own being. If you have never sat with the silence of your own mind, your own fears, your own vulnerabilities, you will not be able to hold space for another's. If you have never extended forgiveness to yourself for being beautifully imperfect, you will always hold others to an impossible standard. If you have not learned to be in your own presence without feeling empty, you will unconsciously use every relationship to avoid yourself. And others feel that. They feel when they are being used to fill a void, and it is a heavy burden for them to carry. So before you continue the search for love, before you look for another to complete you, try this practice. Simply sit with yourself, in quiet, without the noise of distraction, just you and your own breath. Observe what arises. Notice the restlessness, the thoughts that tell you to be more productive. And then gently notice that these thoughts are not you. They are simply old patterns, clouds passing through the sky of your awareness. Underneath all that noise, there is a vast stillness. And within that stillness, there is a profound peace. Not the peace of having all the answers, but the peace of no longer needing them. The peace of simply being here, in this moment. When you touch this peace, even for an instant, a deep tension within you releases. And from that space of release, love becomes possible. Not the anxious, grasping kind, but the love that flows freely, that offers itself not from obligation, but from authentic care. And here is the beautiful truth. When you cultivate this peace within yourself, you begin to see it reflected in the world around you. You start to recognize others who are also drawing from their own wellspring, who are not looking to you for rescue or completion. When two such people meet, it is not about saving one another. It is about two whole beings choosing to walk a path together for a time, sharing the wisdom of their journeys, but never losing their connection to their own center. This is the great paradox. The moment you release the need for love, you become profoundly magnetic to it. The moment you cease your chase, it finds you. This is because you are no longer approaching the world with an empty bowl. You are approaching others from a place of fullness, as a lamp that has light to share, able to give freely because giving does not deplete you. And this energy is felt. It is so rare to meet someone who is not seeking to take, who does not drain your spirit, who is not using connection to feed a hidden hunger. So, if you wish to love and be loved in this deeper way, begin here. Release the effort to earn it. Stop trying to prove you are worthy of it. Let go of the performance. Instead, turn your awareness inward. Make peace with the being you find there, not by trying to fix yourself, but by deeply accepting that nothing is broken. You are not a problem to be solved. You are not incomplete. You are a unique and precious manifestation of life itself. And that is always enough. From this inner sanctuary, love is not something you chase. It is something you become. It flows from you as effortlessly as warmth from the sun. And whether another returns it becomes less important because you are giving from your nature, not for a result. In this way of being, you discover something truly profound. You were never empty to begin with. You were always full. You were always held in love. You had simply forgotten for a moment. And when you remember, really remember, your entire world transforms. And from that state of being, from that inner overflow, you meet others not as empty cups hoping to be filled, but as great rivers meeting the sea, each full from its own powerful source, joining together not from scarcity, but from the simple, profound joy of flowing together. This is the love that remains when the seasons of life change. This is the love that holds its compassion when plans go astray. This is the love that sees the depths of your struggle and stands with you, because it was never based on your best moments. It was founded on the recognition that beneath all the stories, all the masks, and all the roles you play, you are the same timeless awareness that animates all of existence. And how could life itself ever stop loving its own expression? Here is my humble invitation to you. Cease looking for love outside yourself. Stop the tireless effort to become worthy of it. Instead, take the quiet path inward. Meet yourself with honesty. Accept yourself with compassion, not because you have attained perfection, but because perfection was never the point of the journey. And from that acceptance, from that inner peace, simply watch what happens. Watch how love begins to emanate from your very presence. Watch how the right companions appear on your path, not to rescue you, but to walk beside you. Watch how life itself begins to feel like the deep, loving embrace you have always been seeking. The love you yearn for is not somewhere else, waiting to be discovered. It is right here, within you, waiting to be recognized. And once you truly see it, you will know you were never alone. You were always held by something so vast, so generous, and so utterly without conditions that it could not be contained or controlled. This love cannot be grasped. It can only be surrendered to, and in that surrender, you realize that you are it. You have always been, and you will always be. If this path of self-discovery calls to you, consider subscribing and continuing this journey with us. Let it be a gentle reminder of the commitment you make to your own inner peace.